Welcome back to Chit Chats, everybody. My name is Antonio.
And I'm Cody. And let's have a chit chat.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. I don't know why, but when I was like, my name is Antonio, I went, my name is Antonio. I don't, my name is
My
Antonio. I don't know.
name.
My name. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, welcome everybody. Cody, welcome to another wonderful, fantastic, sublime, incredible, amazing, outstanding, elite.
Greatest of all time.
Yep. One more. Um,
Stupendous.
luscious episode of Chit
There we
Chats.
go.
Yep. That's how they describe the show. Um, so
Hey, who's
Cody,
they?
what?
Who's they?
Who's they? You know that them.
Oh,
The
fair enough.
yeah. So Cody, I thought today, because currently when this episode, well, when we're recording this and when this episode will go out, it is the back to school season, or I don't know what you like, what the specific time period of back to school season is. Like late summer, essentially, right?
Yeah, I'd say late August, early September.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know some schools like in certain, I think like U.S. states start in August. I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
They
I'm
start first week of September.
Oh, okay. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I thought
Or
like
at least
some.
or at least here they do.
Okay.
I think it depends on what system they're in. I don't know.
Like
But sure.
whether or not it's the metric system, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what I'm talking about.
What is happening? It is pitch black
What?
behind
Your
me
camera just
now.
really wants to like darken itself
I guess so.
for some reason.
So don't worry about over here. Don't worry about over here. There's
Yeah.
nothing there.
Yeah.
You see two beady eyes right back there, and
There's
it's
like
nothing.
good Cody and evil Cody. Oh, hey. Hey, it's nice Cody. It's good Cody. Okay. Evil Cody.
Neutral.
So yeah, since it's back to school season, and Cody, I don't know if you remember this, but all the way back during the times of the Tonyverse podcast, like all that time ago, me and
Holy
you,
shit, that was a while ago.
that was a while ago. Yeah, that was a different era. Me and you did an episode of that show where we talked about high school advice. Do you remember that?
That I do remember
It's
that.
a bit of a deep cut, if you will, but
It kind of is.
it is. Yeah, it's that was a forgotten time. Like those, we're in we're in like the modern era of Tonyverse. So that's like that was the we were almost like still finding our footing back then. Um, and we were in high school at the time, and we did an episode where we talked about like our little tips and tricks about how to survive high school. You know,
The horrors of high
the
school.
horrors of high school, the horrible, just awful time that is high school. So it's the new time. We're older. We're wiser. You could say.
Yeah.
And I thought we could talk about some. And we both either been in college or currently are in college. So today we're going to be talking about some college tips, or I thought this could be a mix of like, tips that we have to like, incoming college students if they were to find this, or just like maybe like stories of like personal experiences of college and like stuff that we learned from that kind of stuff.
I think before we start discussing, I think it's
Hmm.
important to state that I would say you have had a much more what would be considered like standard college experience.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
feel
Like for like comparing to your
my
college
own.
experience specifically.
Yes.
Okay. I
Yes.
mean, I guess you.
Because
Yeah.
because for people who don't know,
Hmm.
uh, I've lived not in the same city as the university that we've gone to. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been for the last like 3 years, 2 3 years, 2 years. I have been driving in
Yeah.
between my home and school,
Mm-hmm.
and so the time that I could have like I've have spent less time on campus and less time with classmates be for that reason.
Right. Okay.
and
Yeah.
and it's my situation's a little bit, it's a little bit different.
That's
Like
true. I definitely see. I definitely see that.
comparatively to what would be considered like the standard,
Yeah.
or at least in my mind, what I would consider standard.
Yeah, like the traditional sort of like
Yeah.
idea of college. I mean, right off the bat, like first of all, obviously while, majority of younger people are going to be going to high school, like there is a significant portion of that population that won't be going to college, or you know what I mean? Like college is not obviously a requirement by any means
Yeah.
as an adult. But even then, like I mean, like kind of touching upon that, like I feel like college is a lot more of a. It's not it's such a rigid like thing. Like
Mhm.
everyone can kind of have
Yeah.
a varying sort of college experience. Like I think you're right. Like I think from the traditional sort of like idea of what college is, I guess like I have had a more like what would be considered an average college experience. But yeah, I mean, like everybody can kind of have different
Mhm.
like experiences. Like I actually know a good amount of people that I'm pretty sure had a similar situation to you, where they were
Mhm.
driving up from like wherever they live, like their hometown, to you know take classes here. And then obviously there was a bunch of people that were that like flew here from other places in the world or other places in the
Yeah,
country or anything to go here.
that's true.
So it just really depends. But I think it'll be interesting for us to kind of like share our experiences or our advice based on our varying like times in college. Because like if you kind of want to talk about like because you all not only were you like in a different place from where we went to college, but you also went to community college for a
That's
couple
true.
years before coming
Yeah.
here. And so, what was that experience like?
Have you ever seen the memes where it's like community college versus university?
I think I've seen a
Have you
couple.
ever seen
Yeah.
those memes?
Uh huh.
It's very true.
Okay.
It's like community college is like, okay, class, what's 1 plus 1?
It's
And
very
that's like like one of the more difficult. And then in
the more difficult questions.
and yeah, and then when at a university, it's like this integral, solve it, like
Yeah.
figure it out. You have 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
There's a contrast.
it's very true. So community college is comparatively substantially easier, I will say.
Okay.
Well, I guess not for me. It was a bit easier. I should
Right.
specify. Um,
Well, and for context, like me and you were
or
taking.
I guess it was more simplistic.
Sure. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
And for context, like me and you were taking what was considered college level classes in high school. So I think
that's very true.
we were used to kind of being pushed a little harder. And
Yeah,
from what it sounds like, community college is kind of reeling that back in a little if you were already there.
yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I took so we took IB chemistry in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You and I did,
Yeah.
and I didn't pass the IB exam, so I had to retake general chemistry in at community college,
Mm-hmm.
and I used a lot of the notes from IB chemistry in that college class,
And I'm assuming that helped.
and yeah, it was very helpful.
Yeah.
Um, okay, overall, also, once again, first year of college was also very weird for both of us,
That's
as
true.
it
And that
was
was a unique
you
thing for
over.
our year.
So both of our first years were online.
Yeah.
Um, as for at community college, it
Mm-hmm.
was I don't have anything to refer it to because I haven't taken any like I haven't taken any advanced or not advanced, but just like general uh colleges at university online per se, or like
Okay.
none that were yeah. Anyways, but yeah, first term of college being online and at community college, I will say it was definitely still very stressful.
Yeah. Um.
It was a huge shift in everything.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like
Oh yeah.
because I guess this is just more general, but um, in university it is and like just in at a university it is definitely, as you said, much less rigid
Yeah.
compared
Um.
to high school,
For sure. Yeah. Like.
and that was a really big change for me.
Yeah. And I don't think I really realized how much they do kind of hold your hand in high school as much. Like, obviously you have, like classes that you can take. Like you can choose. You can customize your classes a little bit in high school, but there's still sort of a general like structure to
Yeah,
how you're going to be doing it.
if you're a freshman, you
Hmm.
take English 9.
Yeah.
If you're a
Hmm.
sophomore, you take English 10, or
Some
the
form of it.
or the adjacent form of that.
Right.
But
Hmm.
in college, you can do like they can kind of fuck you over where if you
Yeah.
accidentally take a class that you didn't need,
Yeah.
sucks for you.
That. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, like
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah,
It's not.
because
Yeah.
there's less people like watching over your experience. You know what I mean? I mean, really, like
Yes.
you're like the only one that's like really in charge of it.
Hmm.
Obviously, you have like advisors and maybe like friends or professors that will kind of help guide you in certain directions, but it is very much your responsibility as opposed to high school where
Yeah.
if you're not taking a class you need, like they'll be like, oh, you gotta do that, you know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yeah, and it's very much. It's not like a because I remember in high school for us when we wanted to when we wanted an elective, we were just it was like here's a list, write it here.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
and they were like you can or you can't, and you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know until like that happened. But
Yeah.
in college, it's very much like you like here's a list of classes you need to take, figure it out, like what order
Mm-hmm.
you want to take them, what time period, what there's a lot of stuff that you yeah
That you gotta kind of be on top of, and I
that
think
you have
that
to take in
that's
consideration and be on top of.
yeah. And I think that kind of like I kind of wrote like a sort of very, I don't know, quick list of like general like tips that I thought of, and one of them kind of related to that is like make sure that like what classes you need like ahead of the term. Like don't wait too long to like figure that out. Um,
Yeah.
and also like I didn't really like think about this too much until we got to college, but like in high school, at least for us, because I guess different high schools do things differently, but for us it was like you have 4 classes a day and they're like alternating days, right? So you have a day and a B day, and you have 4 classes on one day and 4 different other classes on the other day, and that only really amounts to like 8 slots, and there's only so much like customization within those 8 slots too, you know what I mean?
Yeah, on top of the required classes for
Yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah, which is like the English 9, English 10, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
whereas with college it's like, you know, the range of like times that you can do stuff is so much wider, and you can, you know,
Oh yeah.
just y- like you can have a class in the top of the morning and then not have
And
another
then
one.
another class at 4 p.m.
Yeah, and then have all that time in
Yeah.
between with just nothing,
Yeah.
or no classes at least. Yeah, so it's which is nice. I think it's nice that you're able to customize it a little, like a lot more. Although I do think with there being required classes, the illusion of free will. No, it's like it's like you still do have to work with what is available to you, but
Mhm.
it definitely feels like there's a lot more that you can do for yourself,
Yeah.
which is nice.
And another thing is
Hmm.
you will only take classes that are specific to your major or your degree.
Yes, which is
So,
kind of
for
weird.
example, for both of us,
Yeah.
we're both in STEM.
Hmm.
When was the last time you took a writing class?
I took a writing class like my third year, but it was based on math.
Yeah,
So that kind of says it all
like
right there.
the last writing class that I took was
Hmm.
almost 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's
So, and that's just because it's not required. But same can be said for if you're gonna do like if you're gonna pursue a major in writing, you're not
hmm
gonna take math
no.
because you don't typically you don't need that
You only need
for
like
a writing degree.
yeah, you only need like a certain amount of those like core subjects. And I think that this, cuz obviously we're going off of our own experiences, but I think this kind of generally goes for most colleges. You kind of need like a certain amount of each of the core subjects, and then you can really just kind of do whatever you want, or whatever
Yeah,
you need, rather.
I for me personally, I didn't understand the idea of or like the way that the credit system worked
Mm-hmm.
until college.
Yeah,
I know that it was like loosely used in high school, and I did not understand it in high
yeah.
school.
I don't. I did not know it was used in high school for like the majority of
Yeah,
high
it
school.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
and
yeah.
that's the main like communication for how much of a workload in college you'll have
Hmm.
is the amount of credits that you take.
Yeah,
And then isn't it typically like one credit is equal to 3 hours of work
yeah.
in a week?
I think that's the like
Conclusion.
metric that they
Yeah,
use. Um,
something like
and
that. But
at least for us, like, well, and another thing is like, I took minimum of 12 credits every term that I had, and that's what you need to be considered full time, at least in our neck of the woods. But you know most, I mean, like, and it differs for everyone, because some people could be going into college with credits pre-existing, so they don't have to take that many, or because
that was my case.
yeah, right. And I had a little bit of that too. Um, but you know, the standard, if you're going in with nothing, you're like, if you it depends on like how long you want to take to graduate, or
Yeah,
like,
I was just about to bring that up
yeah,
of the amount of time that you want to be in college is completely up to you.
yeah, truly.
Like I know one guy, he he was a couple of he was he's a good friend, classmate that I
Hmm.
made and couple like a year ago
Yeah.
and I messaged him and was like, "Hey, I don't see you this term. Where are you?" And he said, "Oh, some stuff fell through, so I have to take a year off."
Right. Oh yeah, I think you told me
And
about that.
that happens.
Yeah.
and
And that's not
it's okay.
bad if that happens. Yeah, exactly. That's like
No,
it
yeah, I
depends,
don't.
but
I think pushing the 4-year agenda for a undergraduate degree is a lot.
yeah, I agree.
I think that, and I've saw some video recently, but like on average, most people complete like a bachelor's degree in about 5 years, or like
yeah.
4.5 or something like that. And I guess it's important to realize that uh, you're in college for yourself,
Mhm.
and you take as much time as you need.
Yeah.
And if you're not feeling it at some point, you can take a break if you want.
Mhm.
There's nobody telling you you can't do that.
Yeah. It's it is really just up to you, and there I mean like there's a lot of thought that can be put into it about like, well, if I, you know, like what do I want to be doing by this time? Like do I
Yeah.
want to have my like should I have like based on what I want to do, like is it better for me to like try to get it done by this point, or should I, like, or you can always like adjust your plan and stuff. It's very you know,
Oh,
it's it's not rigid. It's concurrently
yes.
binding, I guess is a way of putting it. Um and I know this guy who actually took like 10 years to get his degree, because he was doing other stuff in the meantime, while he was like in the process of doing that. And I think he like mainly
Mhm.
took like online classes throughout that time.
Yeah.
You know what that guy's name was, Cody?
Oh, I do.
Mr. Shane
I know
Top.
exactly. Shane Top.
Yeah. But like
At first I was like, 10. Who the fuck do you know?
yeah, I think it was 10 years. I think that's how long
Yeah,
he
it
took.
was like 10 years
Yeah.
of doing like one class a term for
Yeah.
however long.
Right, yeah. But I think
But
that like it just hammers in the point that
yeah.
it can take as long as you want it to, or it needs to.
Mhm.
Um
Mhm.
and kind of on the topic of like scheduling classes, like I think one thing, well, and okay, like you only when did you first start taking classes like at the university that you were like going to in person? Was that just like 2022, fall 2022?
Yes. Yeah, it was
Okay.
fall of 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um like I don't know if you ever had this experience, but did you have an experience where like did you ever like schedule a class and then did you space them out, or did you ever have like one right after another if they were in
Like
person?
intentionally space them out.
Yeah, or just like it
Typically,
worked out that way.
yes. I think this last term that I've been in,
Mhm.
I've had one class and then another
Like right after?
like multiple times. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this like more recently, especially with the types of classes that I've been in for my degree.
Yeah.
They're every day and from varying hours.
Mhm.
And uh yeah, and typically they're in the middle of the day. So I'll have a class some days in the mornings and then immediately have to go there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
When I first
yeah.
came, it was definitely more so like spread out
Okay.
and yeah.
In like different buildings, different time periods.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
No,
Okay. Yeah, cuz
no. All
I
of my classes have been in one building
yeah, okay. Um
or any other, or I guess one other building, but it's right across the street from
right.
another. So it's
Uh-huh.
really not that far.
Okay. Cuz what I wanted to kind of touch upon, and I think a good amount of college students kind of go through something like this, is where like they will schedule their classes to be like kind of in one ongoing block. or
Mhm.
maybe not always, but like, that like, or maybe you just have like one and then you have one right after it, like in the next hour. And
Yeah.
based on the location that they're at and the amount of time that you have to get from the end of one to the beginning of the next one, you don't really like leave yourself a lot of time for like, leeway like
Yeah.
between them. Um and that's something that like I don't necessarily like I didn't really think about. So okay, basically, so in the reason why I want to bring this up is in spring of 2023 specifically, I did something where I had four classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I scheduled them all in like one block of time. Like it was literally like one and then another one and then another one and then another one. Like all in the span of 4 hours, right? And it was from 11 to 3, right? And I thought that that would have been like a really good idea because it's like, oh, I get them all done in that one block of time, and then I have the rest of
Yeah.
the day to do whatever. You know what I mean? Work on homework,
Mhm.
relax, whatever I want to do or have to do. It ended up being that was like one of the my least favorite terms that I ever took. Because it was just like you're going from one class to another, and they were all in different buildings also. So I
Yeah.
had to like immediately, and you have like 10 minutes to get from one to the other. And I had no time to like get like food or relax or like even really like go to the bathroom.
I remember that
Yeah.
time.
You were like,
Yes. You and I had one class, technically two, whatever.
yeah.
One class together,
Hmm.
and I remember that time period.
Yeah. It was brutal. It was quite a brutal
Yes.
time. But well, it taught me like, to be more mindful and like realistic with how you're
Mhm.
doing that
Yeah.
because you know these classes that another thing is like these college classes were not as long as they were in high school as we had
Mhm.
in high school. Like it's kind of weird thinking back, like we had hour and a half long like lectures in high school. Like that's kind of weird
That is kind of
to
crazy
think
to think
about.
about.
Yeah. And
And yeah, because our school was from what, like 8 to 3.
it was around like 8 to 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just it's weird. It's just so weird. And you know, and even that like, and we barely had like like a lot of time in between those classes. But in college, like
Mhm.
I will say like majority of like especially your core classes, there's so much content packed into that one lecture a lot of the time that like it's a lot on your brain, you know.
Oh yeah,
And I think just generally speaking, it's better to have like a substantial break in between each one to like just decompress and like
yeah,
digest the information that was just unloaded onto you. You know what I mean?
yeah. Or just give your brain a couple of seconds to shut off
Yeah.
or
Oh
to
yeah.
just like cool off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So thankfully, I did have classes back to back, but
mhm,
I was thankful in the fact that all of the classes that I did have back to back, they were from lab to lecture.
right.
So
So,
it was a lot less of learning new thing, learning new thing, learning new thing,
mhm.
and more so learning new thing, but also applying stuff,
Yeah.
and then going straight to learning so much more.
Right. It's a little
And
different
thankfully,
for sure.
yeah, for lab classes, you don't need to, for at least what we're doing. Um, it's like a little bit less of a brain exercise as it is trying to take in and understand new information.
Mhm. Definitely, yeah.
And also, once again, I was very lucky in that all of my classes were in the same building or were within like 10 feet of each other.
Yeah, you lucky
So,
lucky son of a bitch. Must be
and another
nice.
thing to add on to that
Yeah.
is because I went to community college, I took all of my like not common core, what the fuck?
Yeah, like
uh back core
yeah, backcore. In our case, they're
classes.
called backcore, but yeah.
Like your writing,
Mm-hmm.
general history, health,
Mm-hmm.
all that sort of stuff I took before, so I didn't have to worry about that when I got to college or when I got to like university.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, did you ever have to take like a pack class?
No, I didn't. I
Bruh.
No, I didn't. I took a was it a physical? I took some physical health class that counted for that.
Okay.
And I think for my degree, I don't think they're required.
Okay. I
I don't
thought that
know.
just generally speaking, every student had to take some kind of pack class, which I think stands for like what physical activity something
Course.
course. Yeah. um,
Yeah. I don't know.
but like yeah. I didn't know if like because I never remember hearing you talk about taking one, so I was just curious. Um,
Yeah. No, I have not yet.
oh yeah, that's
Not
true.
yet.
That you know,
I am planning on doing that in
yeah.
my final year.
Mm-hmm. That'll be interesting. There's a lot. There's a lot of those like
Yeah.
to take that you can take.
Yeah.
Um,
But those
but
are
yeah,
like the huge differences between high school and college.
yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So,
yeah, that's true. I think we pretty much like covered the bulk of them, and you know, I will say like or like just really quick touching upon like the whole like going between each class. Like every class that I was doing in that time period was like different topics, you know,
yeah.
different teachers, different
That's what I
buildings. It
yeah,
was a mess.
that's why I brought up the didn't need not needing to take like the back core on
Yeah.
campus.
Mm-hmm.
Because I already did it was because as soon as I came to university, I was solely able to focus on just my degree,
Yes, which I think is
like
nice.
or like on just my majoring, or the
Yeah.
classes that I'm majoring in.
Yeah.
So it was I didn't need to go anywhere else because all of my classes for this subject are in the same building.
Would you say? And did you like that? Was that like a night? Was that a good? Just I guess you don't necessarily have anything to compare it to, but like I don't know. Like, would you have rather had breaks where you took classes based on stuff that wasn't relating to your major?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yes. Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. So,
I uh yeah, just because because I don't like it's whatever. I'm getting a degree in physics.
yeah. I guess we didn't
Physics is
really touch
hard.
upon that. Yeah.
Yeah, physics is hard and it's a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah.
And I wish that I had time in my schedule to not think about physics 24/7.
Yeah. For sure.
And more so right now in the last year and my final year.
Yeah.
Um, I did have to take a couple of what were they? They were also back core classes, but it was like a science based one and like a social studies based one.
Okay.
Like those I didn't take at community college because they weren't offered or they didn't transfer over or whatever.
Right.
But thankfully those classes were very nice, but
Mhm.
I wish I did more.
Yeah. And I mean, you know,
Yeah.
like sometimes you don't always
I
have like it's just based on circumstance. It's just based on like
yeah.
what you need to be doing or
Mhm.
like prefer to be doing at a given time.
Yeah, and I also wish that those things happened. That I wish that that would have happened because then I would have been able to explore campus more
Mhm.
as
That's fair.
opposed to going to the same spot every day,
Yeah.
not having time or want or like I don't know. It's I wasn't given the opportunity to really explore
Yeah.
because I would leave my house, drive here, go to my one building,
Yeah.
be there for like 3 hours,
Uh-huh.
and then go back to my car and go home.
Yeah.
So I didn't have too much, like, I didn't have very many, like, I didn't have very many opportunities to explore campus as I wish I could have.
Mhm. I mean, I think that's actually another like, big difference between high school and college is like, college is so much bigger. Like the
Yeah.
atmosphere and you
Yeah.
know,
They're called college towns for a reason.
yeah. Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
because most of the infrastructure is based off of the college and
Mhm.
its students.
Yeah. And it really
Yeah.
does like, well, and especially cuz it's interesting cuz we came from a college town technically. Um
That's even more of a college town,
yeah. Um
probably.
are you talking about Eugene?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I feel like actually I would
Yeah, no.
say because I feel like Eugene at least like, the university is a little bit more like a separate thing or like it's I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not everybody would say this, but I would say it's more of like Eugene can stand on its own other than the university that's in it. But I feel like where we went,
Yeah.
I don't know many like I feel like it's known for housing our university. You know what I mean?
Yes, I would agree.
That's my general
That's true.
like viewpoint of it, but um yeah, like, and it's I don't know, it's cool like because you get to like living in a college town, I mean, because as a college student, like you immediately have something in common with like majority of people there, you know what I mean? Or like at least the
Mhm.
majority of people that you're probably going to end up talking to. Um
Yeah.
but at least here like, and another thing is like you were living in Eugene coming here and I was living here going to the university. But there's just
Yeah.
less, I don't know. I find there's less to do if you're like unless you're like going out and
Yeah.
socializing every night, which at least personally I wasn't doing that as much. Um,
Yeah.
which you know,
And for me, as
mm-hmm.
somebody who now lives there,
Ooh, yeah,
uh, there is a lot more for me to do here because I'm new
yeah,
and I have not experienced what being in a college town is like until right now.
that's true. Yeah, and I mean, like it just depends because like you know, I'm not as much of a big social butterfly. I like going out, but it's
Mm.
seldom. But if you're into that, then like it's a no brainer. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, and I think for you, like you'll find your footing, like you know, like whether or not you end up going out a lot, or maybe you'll find a new like appreciation for it now that you actually have the
Yeah.
opportunity to do it. It just yeah, again, it just depends on who you are. Um but it it's a cool experience overall. Like I just, you know, I think what's you know, I think with college like, you know, obviously you're mainly there to get your degree. Like that's the whole point. But I think there's a lot of good that can come to going to college that isn't even necessarily related
Oh,
to
yeah.
getting your degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I 100% agree. I
Mm-hmm.
think that for somebody who just moved out onto their own,
Mm-hmm.
I have definitely been sheltered
Mm-hmm.
and like I am very ready to try new things and do new things.
Right.
and as opposed to when I was in Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, uh, yeah, I'm ready for like growth as a person, which will
Mm-hmm.
happen just by trying new things and being independent.
Yeah.
I think is a great experience,
Cody, you will grow
which
whether you want to or not. It'll happen.
oh fuck,
Yeah, I'm sorry to be the one to break it to you. Yeah. Um
damn it.
no, but yeah, no, like I don't know, and I think that that's like I don't know. It that's like a like maybe it's not like an overlooked aspect of college, but I don't think it's as appreciated like the amount of like personal growth that you go through
Hmm.
by having that experience. I mean, obviously not everybody goes through that experience like people will go through that experience even if they're not in college.
At different points in life, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe
or
you'll
yeah,
go to college and you won't necessarily have that experience, but then later in life you will. It just really depends.
yeah,
But I do think that it, at least for me, like it definitely pushed me to grow more as an individual, as a person. You know what I mean? And I am forever appreciative of that aspect of it.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
like when you go to college, it really is a new like era for yourself,
it is.
and I think I'm not trying to keep talking about myself, but just as somebody who
How
just
dare you?
recently,
No, I'm just kidding.
I know, as somebody who just recently moved moved out of their childhood home
Mm-hmm.
and is still in college, it's I'm already feeling it,
Yeah,
and I yeah
yeah,
yeah I think it's a really cool thing that it's definitely I feel like I'm in a new era for myself.
yeah,
That's where I was trying to go.
for sure. Yeah, no, and like it really does hit you hard when you go through that because I remember going through that when I moved out like a couple years ago, and it was weird. Like it really did not hit me until I was here, you know, like,
Mhm.
and I wasn't, able to, or like I wasn't in the same home as my parents. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, wow,
Yeah,
this is different. This is, like, um,
yeah,
and I think if you're immediately like if you're wanting to go to college or in college already, like you probably want to have that experience like of like moving on and being more independent. So it is a really good feeling. Um and I think overall it's kind of a necessary thing too. I think like if you're not you can't be, I mean like if you want to have like a certain amount of growth, like it's just a good idea to break out of your comfort zone, you know?
mhm,
So I think,
yeah,
yeah. And obviously it depends on when you're able to or how you're able to or anything like that. Like, it's all dependent on a lot of factors. But if you're able to make it happen, I think that it's a good idea.
yeah. I would definitely agree.
Yeah. Um,
Well, Antonio, as
yeah.
somebody who has finished college, what is your biggest piece of advice?
Dude, great
The
question.
main topic that
Great
we're
question.
getting to now.
Um, I think that I'll ask you the same question after I give my answer. Um, I think like the biggest piece of advice that I have for like incoming college students or just anyone that wants to go to college or in college is just like get out there. I think we've already kind
Yeah.
of been touching upon it, but like break out of your comfort zone. Don't don't stay in a bubble of like what you feel comfortable with. And it's tempting to do that, obviously. And I've been guilty of like acting in that way. But even then, like
Mhm.
I'm appreciative for the things that I have done that were like, maybe a little like I wasn't really sure if I would like doing it, or you know, certain things like going out to like a party, or going out to like hang out with people at a at a bar, or at a group event that I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I've never really done, like, I was like, oh, I've never done something like this before. Like, this is new. Like, I don't know if this is my thing. I think even if it's not your thing, like, it's good to just try it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it,
and
yeah,
that is something that I'm actively trying to
yeah, yeah.
at
Well, thank you for taking my advice, Cody.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah,
Because because I went home because it was so far away, I never I never called where our university is home. I
right.
never felt like I could stay here
Mm-hmm.
and go to events
Yeah,
with classmates and make those connections and
yeah,
step out of my comfort zone because it just didn't feel right.
yeah. You weren't always in the circumstance that lended itself to you
Yeah.
doing that easily. So I understand. Like it
Mhm.
makes sense. But now you're set up to do that if you
I
want to.
am.
So that's pretty
If I
cool.
want. And I'm planning.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there you go. Cody, what is your like big what is your biggest piece of advice that you would give? Imagine I'm a little college, like a little upcoming college student. I'm like, Cody, I'm gonna go to college. Like, what should I do? What should I do, Cody? Help me. Sorry, I don't know
I
what that
would
was.
say no, that was great.
Thank you. That was a little Timmy.
Um oh, cool. I'd say, I mean, I definitely would second what you said. That's super important.
It's a really broad
I'd
piece of
also,
advice, but
yeah,
it's
I'd
yeah,
say, especially for, because I can only really speak from somebody who's in STEM and the culture that the STEM majors like bring.
yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask
Oh
questions,
my God, yeah.
and don't be
Mm-hmm.
afraid to be wrong.
Yes.
And those are still things that I am actively working on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten a lot better about it
Mm-hmm.
this last year.
Yeah.
But holy shit, that's like, if I could go back in time, like even just like 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that I'd say that to myself
Yeah.
because it's
100%.
so important. It's so important to not get stuck in your own head because you're there you're there to learn,
Yeah.
and
And you are only
that's
human,
okay.
and you will make mistakes, and
Yes.
that's okay.
Yes.
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 100% agree. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um and especially in any of the majors like STEM, where which would be considered, there's a lot of people in there that you will also definitely compare yourself to.
Mm-hmm.
And also just in general, you will compare yourself to people, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's totally understandable to to do that, and
Yeah.
at some point it could probably be healthy, but
It's not bad to
it's
strive to be better, you know.
yeah, definitely, but it's
Yeah.
also not good to put yourself down that you're not somebody else,
Yeah,
because you're
for
you,
sure. Yeah.
and you will never
Exactly.
be somebody else but yourself,
Yeah. It's you got to
and
embrace who you
that's
are.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no.
I guess just to say all of that in one thing, you are enough.
Yeah, you are
Like
Kenough.
you are Kenneth.
Mhm.
True. Sublime. Am I
Yeah.
right? Or am I
Mhm.
right?
That was a reference to Oppenheimer.
Um,
Um
that was
yeah. Uh-huh.
but
Yeah, I
that would
agree.
probably be the biggest piece. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Mhm.
You're there to learn. So ask the questions.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Yeah,
It's
and that's only coming from somebody who was in STEM. I don't have any other
Yeah,
like non
for all you
background.
artsy majors that it can't be wrong because it's a subjective thing. Like, fuck you. This is not for you. In fact,
Fuck you.
stop. Go away.
No,
Stop watching.
I'd say I'd say as well, just another piece of advice that I have kind of tried to do,
Uh huh.
especially as somebody who is in STEM,
Mm-hmm.
is to not look down
Oh
on
yeah,
other majors because that is a very prevalent thing
yeah,
in
and
STEM
I joke about it,
because
but yeah, you don't want to do that.
because in because typically when you do math and science, that's considered like the smart person thing, but in
Yeah,
actuality, everybody is smart in their own way.
yeah,
And
very true. Yeah,
yes, you're good at math and science, but you can't write a novel.
yeah. Everybody has
But
their own
like I guess you
strengths,
can.
you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I think personally you can learn anything from anybody.
yeah, I
And
think
it's
so.
not I don't think it's very healthy to look down on people
I think if you have the
in general.
ambition and the drive to learn something, I think you can.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh yeah,
generally
totally.
speaking. Um, yeah, for sure. Yeah, like that's very true. Yeah, like you want to stand on your own. I think that that's like the
Yeah,
most broad way of putting what you're saying. Like you don't want to feel worse in comparison to somebody, and you don't want to feel like you're better than people either. You know what I mean?
definitely.
You want to
Definitely.
stand on your own, just be who you are, just do your own thing, and
There's not a
yeah,
hierarchy.
no, no, there's not.
Yeah. Everybody's
Yeah,
there doing their own thing. They're all
hmm
paying for it. So
exactly. Yeah,
just do your own thing.
you guys all have the same or a similar goal. Like
Hmm.
you should be, if you shouldn't be comparing yourself, you should be working together to achieve the goal,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean?
The real
So
objective of college is to just survive. That's it.
that's true. Yeah, it's
Not make connections, not learn, survive.
college is like a video game. You 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 have you have 3 lives.
Antonio, I'll one up you with that and say
Holy shit.
life is like a video game.
Holy shit, dude, that is philosophical as fuck. Wow.
I know.
When did we become the
And with that, I'm gone.
when did we become the philosophy bros? Holy shit, he actually left. Oh, he's back. Holy shit, we got. Oh my god,
Holy
you went
fuck.
from dark, you went from evil Cody to light Cody.
Angelic.
Holy shit, that was prolific. That was incredible. I think that I think we gotta call it there. I think that that's the sign right there that that's where we gotta
Yeah.
end this. I think we really we touched upon like the main, pretty much the main stuff that you
Yeah.
should know about college. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, this is like a topic that we can go on for a while about,
And
but
then it would just dwell into I
existentialism
hate this
and
specific thing about this specific class.
yeah, it would just get really
And
specific. Yeah,
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 by
yeah,
that
yeah,
point it's just
yeah. Unfortunately, we cannot do that until we get to the Chit Chats 24-hour live stream charity event where we just
Mhm.
have to fill 24 hours of doing whatever. Then we can talk about
of talking.
of talking. Then we can of having a chit chat. Then we can talk about that nitty gritty stuff. But we're
That's
not
true.
there yet.
Yeah, I'll go over everything that I learned in one of my physics classes in
Yeah,
24 hours.
yeah, just yeah. That's you know what
That'll go
that's
well.
yeah. I think that would yeah. I,
Yeah.
I'm all for that, dude.
Mhm.
Um, but this episode is going to come to a close. So Cody, thank you for joining me today and
And Antonio,
discussing.
thank you for having me.
Of course, it was my pleasure, and thank you for imparting your knowledge and wisdom and your advice onto me and the world
Mhm.
of
Yeah, because if
college.
there's anybody who needs advice from somebody in college. It's somebody who already graduated from college.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. Coach, teach me, Cody. It's long overdue.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the show, and
Mhm.
we will see you guys on the next episode of Chit Chats.
True.
I'm gonna touch the lens. Boop. Also, discussion posts are dumb.
They're stupid.
Welcome back to Chit Chats, everybody. My name is Antonio.
And my name is Parker, and let's have a chit chat.
Perfect. You did it.
Oh,
Good job. I'm
nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed it. Like, I'm impressed. You know, some people, believe it or not, some people mess that up. And by some people, I mean a lot of people. You know,
Really?
it's a lot of pressure, you know,
It is.
to
You're
say
from
that
Atlanta?
sometimes for people. So,
Yeah.
you know, like you did good. I'm very pleased. So,
Well, I'm glad that I could deliver.
yeah, we're off to a good start here.
Yeah.
So welcome everyone to another episode of Chit Chats. Welcome Parker to the show for the first time.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about some interesting stuff today.
Sweet.
Because Parker, you know, little known fact about me and Parker is that we both go to the same college, Oregon
Mhm.
State University.
The best.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we both. I think like the interesting thing is like we both like we're both obviously friends. Like we like bond over a lot of stuff, but we've had like pretty, I'd say fairly different experiences.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
like different ways, and I kind of want to explore that today. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So, and I might expose Parker along the way. We might.
Yeah. I might get exposed a little bit.
Yeah. There might be some dirty secrets revealed. That'll be the title, actually.
Yeah.
Parker's secrets revealed or something. Yeah.
That's gotta be it. You've got to do that.
I got to do that now. I got to get the people enticed. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. You got to clickbait a little bit.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess first, right off the bat, we break the ice. Parker, you are in a fraternity. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
That is correct.
And what is the name of that fraternity, if you don't mind?
The fraternity is Phi Gamma Delta, or like it's commonly known as just Fiji.
Right.
That's just its safe name, which is kind of funny. It doesn't really, I don't really know how it derives from that, but yeah.
Right. It's
Fiji,
just
like the island.
yeah, it's just like a cool name. Like that's what I remembered your frat was named.
Mhm.
And you've been in this frat like pretty much like right when you entered college, right?
Yeah. So I joined when I was the fall term freshman year, just because I was going to campus and I was it was COVID too. So
yeah.
The opportunities to meet people were pretty low. Like when we got to the dorms,
Right.
like you couldn't keep your doors open. Usually I heard like when you move into dorms on a college campus, the doors, like everyone opens their doors and they all go talk to each other and meet each other, and like there's a lot of friendships that form in that time. But
Right.
because it was COVID, like we were all forced to keep our doors closed, and
Yeah.
like, we couldn't have everybody over, and
Mm-hmm.
so I was feeling like, okay, I don't want to sit in my room and like having zero outside people in Corvallis at all. Like it felt kind of lonely. So I was like, I got to join a fraternity, because my dad also was in a fraternity
Right.
when he went to Oregon State, and he was in the same fraternity.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he really pushed me to join, honestly. Like I was pretty skeptical of it. But I went and talked to some of the guys. We did a Zoom rush, because rush is like it's recruitment basically.
Okay.
So there's a week where there's all these events. Each day is an event, and you show up, and you keep showing up, and they'll eventually give you what's called a bid card.
And is that
And
normally?
if you sign the bid card,
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask: is that normally like something that you would do in person, or is that like?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
I
it's
was
something you do in
curious.
person. So you do rush in person, and it would usually be like some event, like for example, like a basketball tournament. You go to the Fiji house, because the fraternity house is pretty big, and ours has a basketball court in the backyard, which is pretty sweet. And so we do like like basketball tournaments, dodgeball tournaments, stuff like that. Usually, if the weather's nice.
Yeah.
Then, so yeah, but because I did it on Zoom, I just like met a bunch of people on Zoom, and I was like, okay, these people seem pretty cool, and they gave me a bid card. And if you sign the bid card, then you're like what's known as like a new member, which means that like you go through this process called well, we call it pledge ed, but it's formally supposed to be called new member education to be like more like less pledgy because that has really bad like there's been a
Oh,
lot of like
yeah.
hazing stuff that gets associated with that. So like
Right.
usually like it's called new member education,
Gotcha.
and there's like no hazing or anything. Like I didn't get hazed or anything like that,
Yeah.
which was good. I was
Is
nervous
it
about
is
that,
that the
but
first
that didn't
secret? Is
happen.
that the first Parker secret that you
Yeah,
actually that you got
yeah.
hazed?
But I got hella hazed. No,
Yeah.
yeah, but I was there. They're not a hazing fraternity, which is cool, and
Mm,
that I never experienced any of it. And so, but when you're like a new member, um, you kind of go through it, and you go through this education process, and they give you this thing like this book that you read from that like has the history of the fraternity and like the values of the fraternity and all that. You kind of learn it, and yeah, and
mhm.
you're a new member, and you do your thing, and then eventually you just become a member.
Right.
Um, yeah, and so
Cool.
that's basically how it started. But anyway, sorry, I got off track there.
No, you're good.
I joined because I wanted to meet some people, and I just said, screw it, I'll join a fraternity, even though because with COVID and the opportunities were pretty low, and
Mhm.
I don't regret it. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems like as an outsider, it seems like it's been a really fun experience. Definitely
Yeah,
a unique experience from just like because I feel like probably not the majority of people that go to college are in a fraternity or sorority. So like
yeah,
it is like I think it's a really cool like opportunity to have for people. Because I mean like for the most part, I know like not all or I'm sure like not all fraternities are created equal. You know.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely there are yeah. There's definitely kind of there's a lot of different houses with different like personalities and stuff, and it kind of
Yeah.
comes down to who you are as a person.
Right. Yeah. For sure. But
Yeah,
it
and that's
seems
what the
like for
rush
you, it's been
process is
really
for
good.
too. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
it has. It's been good.
That's good. And so like, yeah, and so you kind of mentioned how your dad was in a fraternity. Is that also like a big reason why you wanted to join one for yourself?
Yeah. So growing up, my dad like has had these friends that he made while he was in college and in the fraternity. And he has friends outside of the fraternity that he made in college too that have always kind of been around me
Yeah.
growing up. And so that was kind of a template for me that I kind of realized was like I want to have friends like these that are lifelong, and like I feel like when you join a fraternity, you're kind of forced to be around these people a lot,
Yeah.
which sounds bad, but like it's good in a sense because you have like being around people a lot kind of you learn a lot of things about living with people,
Yes.
and b just like a lot of social, like you socially develop a lot because you're just around. It's a very uncomfortable because like going from living in your own room and like you go from the house with your parents to living in a house just full of guys that
Yeah.
are your age, and like you have to have a roommate, and like it's
Right.
it's kind of uncomfortable. Like the showers, there's like communal showers. You have to be comfortable with that, and
Hmm.
there's just a lot of like getting out of your comfort zone with it.
Yeah.
And it kind of creates an environment where people are able to become really good friends, I feel like, and I've made some good friends through it. And my dad, he did the same, and so I was like, that sounds great.
Hmm.
That was a very big motivator for me joining, along with like the situation on campus with COVID. And yeah, and it's been cool to talk to him about it because his experiences have been different from mine, and we kind of we exchange stories and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool. It's like it's another way that you get to share experiences with your dad or share like a commonality with him,
Yeah,
right? Which I think is really cool.
totally,
Yeah, and
totally.
I think like overall the thing that I really seem to like about fraternity. Well, I guess this kind of ties into the next question I was going to ask you, but like um well, okay. Like it seems like a really big aspect of it is like the community aspect, right? Like getting like really well acquainted with this
Yeah.
specific group of people. And would you say
Mhm.
like for the most part it sounds like that's been like a pretty like in terms of like after you were in it and like being in it for like as long as you have been like that's
Yeah.
been a really successful part of it is like that community building aspect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, totally. Totally. And you do a lot of things. There's this thing called Greek Week each year, I think. I think it's winter term each year.
Mhm.
Where you get like paired up with a sorority, and you and your fraternity and the sorority, they like compete in like challenges. And sometimes not a lot of people do it, sometimes they do, and it's fun. And there's also philanthropies where you can participate in like a sorority, like usually like fraternities participate in other sororities philanthropies, and there are different, like, for example, Kappa Delta, one of the sororities across the street, we just did this thing called mock rock,
Mm-hmm.
where you like assemble like a team of people to like do like a sing and dance routine together
Oh, okay. Yeah.
for this like competition.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do this, and it's a way to make money for whatever cause they're supporting, and all the fraternities compete, and that you want to get the be the champion or whatever. But
Yeah.
in doing that kind of stuff, you get to do these things with your friends that is also outside of your comfort zone. And I feel like it kind of builds that like pride and like, okay, we want to represent our house pretty well, so we want to do this well. And I feel like it definitely creates a better sense of like community in that sense. And then
Yeah.
also just living together and talking, and just, you get home from class and there's people on the landing upstairs, and you just kind of sit and BS with them for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, uh, all the meals every day, you usually all eat together because it's all at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of time that you spend hanging out doing that. And then just like you can just pop into people's rooms and just see what they're doing. There would be people playing like Smash Bros and stuff, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on, and it's cool in the sense that you do get to have that like sense of it's your house, like a lot of the people in it, and you run into them on campus and say hi to them and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I feel like it sounds like it really not only does it get you well acquainted with these people, but it also like gets you more involved in like, in these activities and potentially like events around campus or like the school itself, right? You know?
Yeah, yes, totally, totally. And it definitely, I feel like it connects you pretty well at the school because there's a lot of on-campus events that a lot of fraternities and sororities are encouraged to go do,
Mhm.
um, which is cool in the sense that it gives you an excuse to go on campus and do something.
Yeah.
Um, Along with we have so every fall and spring, so we have fall formal recruitment, which is like rush week, like I was telling you,
Mhm.
and there's spring formal recruitment, so there's spring rush as well. And at the end of each of those weeks, there's this thing called Jump Day, where all of the people who like signed to your house and every other house, we all go to the quad at the MU,
Mhm.
and then they like say your name, and then you run and jump into a crowd of whatever house you join, and then they catch you.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. It's something that it happens like twice a year, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I like that. I feel like
Yeah,
yeah, that sounds like a fun like sort of like just exhilarating thing to do, right? Like gets you kind of
yeah,
hyped, right? That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. And I guess like kind of just like on the topic of like exhilarating stuff, like, there's sort of like this like very stereotypical viewpoint of like being in a fraternity, right? Like it's like, oh, there's like
Mhm.
parties every day or every week and it's like,
Yeah,
there's kind of like I feel like there's like this sort of like perception of what like a person in a frat is like, you know what I mean?
yes,
And
yeah.
like I don't know, like what is that kind of like kind of like having that stigma around it, like kind of like what are your thoughts on
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of people that are like that, like that fall into that
Mm-hmm.
stereotype, especially nowadays because fraternities are, like you said, like there's a lot of stigma around them, and so people are very averse to joining them.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I really like about my house specifically is that there's a lot of different types of people. Like it's not just that like stereotypical like frat bro dude,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and I like to think of myself as not necessarily like that either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But and there are houses that kind of there are is a diverse group of people that isn't like let's go party, but there are people that are like, oh, let's go party and
Yeah.
do stuff,
Yeah.
and
But
yeah,
you don't
stereotypical
have
frat
to be
boys.
in a frat to have that mindset either, you know what I mean? Like
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
exactly, exactly. But what I've because I had that stigma when I before I joined, and it honestly has changed quite a bit because I
Mm-hmm.
initially viewed it as like a way for guys or girls to get together and just go to parties. That's how
Yeah.
I viewed it coming out of high school.
For sure. Yeah.
And since joining, I kind of have realized that it's more of a fraternities and sororities are meant as like a social club. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you get down to like the bare minimum of what they're trying to do, like they're just trying to get people together and kind of just create, like you said, like a community.
Yeah.
And because those houses have thrown parties and stuff over the years, it's kind of developed into this stigma of like just like a thing you join to go to parties.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's good because I like having my perception change has honestly been kind of nice because I'm able to kind of see both sides
Yeah.
in the
Mm-hmm.
sense like, and I think that like my house specifically is like really into like making sure that all of our parties are safe and
Mm-hmm.
making sure we're doing things right so that people don't feel like, they're unsafe because that does happen at fraternity parties, which is really not good.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's something I really value about my house is like we are very, very on top of like making sure like at each party we have these like people that have to be sober so that like if something were to happen then like
Mm-hmm.
nobody's like absolutely hammered and can't
Yeah.
like take care of the situation,
Uh-huh.
which is nice because then like if whatever happens, we have like a safety net if need be, God forbid.
Yeah,
You know, so
for
I don't
sure.
know. I feel like Greek life in general has definitely pivoted toward kind of trying to break that stigma because it's I mean it really harms Greek life to have that stigma because then people
Mm-hmm.
don't want to join it, which is fair because I,
Yeah.
I mean I initially had that same exact thought process, but I'm glad that it's that my perception of it has kind of changed and it's helped me. I feel like it's rounded me better, which has been good.
Yeah. And I feel like, and yeah, that's the thing is I feel like, I guess it's not for everyone, but I do think like it's cool to see that like, there's more to meets the eye than like of like joining a frat, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not all like the stereotypical belief that everyone thinks it is, or like how it's kind of like played in movies or whatever,
Yes.
or popular media as a whole.
Yeah.
And I will say
Yeah.
I've met like a lot of frat people like yourself included who like they don't seem like they're the typical frat person. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Mhm.
like you show like, oh, like yeah, no, like just because you're in a frat doesn't mean you fit into like this specific mold of a person, right?
Right.
So yeah,
Right. Totally.
that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Um, so this is kind of an unrelated question, but I was just curious because like, I, in the time that I've gone to college, like I haven't gone to a lot of sports events, and and I
Mhm.
know like you've gone to like a good amount, if not like most of them, if you're
Yeah.
able to, right?
Mhm.
And so what has that experience been like? Have like has like like how would you rate those experiences?
So football games are the best.
Uh huh.
They're
That's the
like
main one.
to
Yeah.
me, yeah, that is like
Hmm.
I'm always looking forward because I'm also just really invested in like actual game because I mean I don't know in high school we'd go to the
We
we'd go to the Willamette
Yeah,
games and
but we didn't go to
there'd be
watch the
like
game.
no, we
Yeah.
didn't care about the games, but like
Yeah.
because like when I was growing up, I watched a lot of college football,
Hmm.
and so I kind of have more of an interest in the teams and like what's going on because I just
Right.
know more
There's
about it
higher
and I grew up around
stakes.
it.
There's higher stakes with
Yeah,
college
there's higher
football. Yeah.
stakes.
Hmm.
And so when I'm actually going to the games, like I'm actually watching it and like I'm interested in what's happening.
Yeah.
And also it's a great social event.
For sure. Yeah.
And so football games, I try to go to every single home football game I possibly can.
Hmm.
And I think last year I don't think I did it the year before, but last year I managed to do it, which I was stoked about.
Hmm.
And I love it because you tailgate beforehand, you go to like a little pregame party or whatever with your friends, and then you all go to the game
Yeah.
and you watch the game and it's fun. You root for the Beavers because it's your school. It's like
Yeah.
it's a I don't know, for me especially like it's kind of a pride thing because I go to school here, so it's like I want to see my I don't know, it's
Yeah.
obvious
No,
like you
I
go see
get it.
you
I
go to
get it
go
for
to
sure.
school there.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so because I'm so interested in football, it's just I don't know, I love it and I'm pretty passionate about it.
Yeah.
And it's such a fun time. You get to see all your friends. You go save seats for them, and you usually like the way that Oregon State has it is that the student section is right behind the players, and so the players will like turn around and interact with the students behind them and like take pictures with them and stuff,
Hmm.
which is pretty cool. Um, and then basketball games, I don't go to as often because they're just not as big of a deal because there's so many of them
Yeah. Hmm.
compared to football. Because football is typically like one game a weekend.
Yeah.
uh, and like only half of those games are at home. And so basketball though, there can be like 2 games a week that are at home, and so
Hmm.
it's not as big of a deal. And there's not a lot of people that go, but usually I find a friend or two and go with them, and it's also fun because I like basketball as well.
Yeah.
The Beavs haven't been that good this
Oh,
last year, which
yeah.
kind of sucked, but I
We'll
don't
get
know.
them
They're
next
they're
year.
fun in that regard. Yeah, we'll get them next year.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then the third primary sporting event that I go to is baseball, and that is great when the weather is good.
Okay. Yeah.
And in Oregon, it's kind of a roll of the dice. Like right now,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
especially because baseball season starts, I want to say in like late February, and the
Yeah, I have
weather
no idea.
is not good
You
in
could be
Oregon
lying
when
and I wouldn't know,
it's
but
yeah,
I believe you.
it's true. But the weather in Oregon in February is terrible. So going
Hmm.
to a baseball game in February is no fun. But like once you get to like April, late April to May, they're pretty fun because the weather's good and you go with your
Yeah.
friends and it's definitely way more social because baseball is a very slow
Right.
game,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
they're fun in that regard, and I enjoy it because I have a lot of passion for the team and stuff. It's just
For
something
sure.
an extracurricular fun thing to go do.
Yeah. For sure. And
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. I feel like it's something like, we can go I guess to like games like later on, but I feel like there's like you later on in life, when we're older, but I feel like there's
yeah,
something more like there's more of a rush you get when you go to a college
totally.
sports game when you're in college, I feel like it's like
Yeah,
it means more, especially if it's your own
yeah,
team that you're rooting for. Right.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
So overall, like just talking about like college as a whole, like, being in a fraternity, like sports games, parties, like I want to know, like, what are some like standout memories that you specifically have? It could be like one specific one. It could be a couple if you want. Like what are some like really like memories that you feel like, they could be funny. They could be like really like, I don't know, heartwarming, I guess. Just stuff that you feel like you're going to remember like when you get out of college.
Yeah, yeah. So right now, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of two,
Hmm.
and both of them, ironically enough, kind of go around going to a football game.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
um, the first one was the when I so the Beavers were playing the Washington Huskies up in Seattle,
Hmm.
and my buddy Wyatt and I drove up to Seattle and stayed at my grandma's house and actually like went to the game.
Uh-huh.
And it was we got there and I saw my grandma. That was great, of course. But we got there and then my dad's friend called me. His friend from college called me and was like, "Hey, I'm also at this game. I'm gonna get us tickets like right behind the football team." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh my god, okay,
nice.
that's pretty awesome."
Yeah.
And so Wyatt and I went and uh, we went to the game and just the road trip up there was great. Uh, we got stuck on the bus because there's a huge bridge in Seattle that goes across Lake Washington, and
Uh-huh.
it's pretty long. And so we were in like really bad traffic because there was a football game, and I had to pee so bad. Like I was I was struggling. Like
Yeah.
it
That's
was
the
like life or
worst,
death.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were in
Uh-huh.
the middle of the bridge, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I don't know if I'm gonna make it." And I
Yeah.
managed, but
Oh, let's
oh
go.
my god, it was
Let's go.
brutal. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was, and then we saw my dad's friend, which was great, and he got us these awesome tickets, and he was great to me, and it was just I don't know, it was a really good night. And then other guys that go to Oregon State that were going with like separately from us, they came down and hung out with us,
Mhm.
and it was just like kind of cool because we were all like from a different school, like all together because we were in like this foreign place.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was great. That was a really really good time. That's like really the first trip I think I've taken, like a long trip that I've taken on my own with friends in college.
Yeah. And when
That I
what
can remember
exactly
off the
was
top of my
this?
head. This was early early November of this year,
Oh,
of
this year.
junior year.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So
Yeah,
fairly recent.
yeah. So
Fairly
that was
recent.
this year. Yeah, it was pretty recent.
Mhm.
And then
Cool.
the second uh, memory that I can think of was the another football game uh, with so it was the Civil War where we played the Ducks
Oh, okay.
down in Eugene,
Yeah.
and the night before, uh, Ellie and I, a good friend of mine,
Mhm.
uh,
Oh, she's been on the show
we
before. Shout out to Ellie.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah yeah, yeah Ellie,
Yeah.
Ellie and I we were getting ready to go, and so there was this block party that happened on the street right in front of my fraternity house.
Yeah.
And so they blocked off, like we contacted the city and like had them block off the street.
Mhm.
And so all these people were going to be out, but the game was at like noon, and so this block party started at like 7 in the morning. And so Ellie and I were in Eugene because of Thanksgiving, because it was the Thanksgiving weekend.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
And so we had to get up like ridiculously early, like probably like 5:30 in the
Oof.
morning
Yeah.
to drive back to Corvallis. And then like you're like you get there and it's 7 in the morning, and you're drinking alcohol because that's what people do at the block party.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh my God.
At
But it was just
seven
so
in the
fun because
morning,
like 7 in the morning, and
that's
it was like
yeah.
super foggy, and
Damn.
like there
Oh
was just
yeah,
something about it
cause
that was just kind of fun because we had all of our friends up super early, and then
right,
the
yeah.
the game was awesome because we all went and we ended up beating the Ducks, which was
Nice,
awesome.
yeah.
And yeah, it was a really really good experience. I will always look back on that fondly. I got some good pictures of it too,
Right, yeah.
which is just it's been good. And then I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, another memory came to
Oh,
mind.
another one. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. Let's
Another one just came to mind,
yeah.
which was literally like 2 weeks ago. We went to Lake Shasta in California,
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm.
and we got a houseboat, and basically the whole university, like all most Greek life in the university went,
Hmm.
and you all take your boats to this one island, and you all hang out. And at night there's a big party on the mainland, and it was just super fun. It was like literally all my friends from college like were there,
Hmm.
and I saw. I mean, we were just kind of in paradise because the weather was amazing, and you can just jump in the lake whenever you were feeling hot or whatever. It's just you have a huge lake right there,
Yeah.
and you're just hanging out with all your friends, and it was super duper fun. It was definitely like I was telling Ellie, like it's like probably one of the best memories I've had in college was just that, and it was so recent, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
and I can tell like I mean like, I think the common theme between these stories is like, they're very like tied to the fact that you're in a frat or like
yeah,
this like sort of like it's kind of like a common thing, and I feel like that's like a really cool way of like, it shows like being in a frat like it can lead to some like really cool experiences and memories.
yeah,
Yeah. I think
yeah,
that's awesome.
totally, totally,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's great to hear that.
yeah.
I have one more question, sort of
Give
in
me,
like, yeah, to kind of cap this off this little interview here.
yeah,
Um, if you were like, I don't know, I phrased this in, you can phrase this in multiple ways, but I guess like, if you were talking to like someone that was going into college, or maybe they're interested in being in a frat, or maybe like even like yourself, like before you were in
yeah,
college, like what is like advice that you would give them, you know, now that given where
yeah,
you are
yeah,
right now.
yeah. That's a really good question, actually. I would say because my younger sister's actually coming into
Oh yeah,
college
there we go. Yeah,
next year, so
yeah,
I have had some reflection on this kind of stuff, and I would say you've got to you got to take everything that happens kind of in stride in terms of you got to just kind of take it in. You
hmm,
can't. I feel like sometimes I had this expectation that I need to be doing more, or I might be like wasting the time because it felt so finite to me.
yeah,
You got to kind of enjoy the ride and enjoy the moments that you have day by day, and whatever you end up doing, as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're getting your stuff done in college. That's another thing. Be on top of your school.
right,
Be
yeah,
on top of your school. Everything kind of
hmm,
falls into place.
yeah,
Just be on top of your academics and take all of the other experiences. Just let it happen, and also do things that you wouldn't really see yourself doing. Like if you get invited to go do something that sounds kind of weird, or I don't know, if there's something that you can go do that your friends are doing that you're like, I don't know. I mean, obviously within reason. If like people are wanting you to do hard drugs, I probably wouldn't advise you to go do
yeah.
that. But
Maybe
like,
that's maybe an exception. Yeah,
yeah, well, I'd say
maybe.
that's an exception. But
Yeah,
like, something that gets you outside of your comfort zone within reason. You gotta. I feel like it's something to go do, and it kind of rounds you better. And that's something I've kind of been trying to get myself to do more so recently, of just like doing things because I don't think it's going to be as opportune when I'm out of college.
yeah, for sure.
So, so going into college, take care of your stuff. Maybe check out Greek life if you want. If you're feeling like you want to try and make some more friends. If I don't know, in any situation that interests you, give it a
Yeah,
whirl. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's totally fine. It's not definitely not for everybody.
yeah, hmm,
In a sense that it's a very unique deal, and it's if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
hmm,
But I definitely think it's cool. It'd be cool to give it a shot.
yeah,
And that's something that I've kind of told my sister as well.
hmm,
Um, But yeah, I think that that's probably the best advice I could give
No, yeah, that's good.
off
Yeah.
the top of my head.
Yeah, no, that's good. No, this was no overall like this was good. Like considering this was all like very off the cuff. You voiced yourself very well.
Well,
Um,
thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah. So overall, yeah, like thank you for doing this interview with me. This was a fun
Yeah,
time.
totally,
It was really cool
totally.
getting to hear because some of these stories, like I'd never heard some of these stories, so it was cool to like hear them
Yeah,
for the first time.
yeah. And
Um,
I'm glad to finally do it.
yeah,
So I've heard of the Chit Chats, and I've been wanting
the
to do one. So
the legend of Chit Chats. Yeah,
the Lud Chit Chats, yeah.
yeah,
So I'm glad to do it.
the legend of Chit Chats. Tears of the Chit Chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cheers to the Chit Chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I hope to have you on again for another episode sometime.
totally.
Perhaps with a few other guests potentially.
That would
Yeah.
be sweet.
Yeah, for
Yeah, we should
sure.
totally do that.
Cool. All right. Well,
Hmm.
that is where we will end off this episode then. Thank you, Parker, for being here.
Yeah,
One
thank you for
more.
having.
Yeah, and thank you all for watching. Hope this was a fun like to hear these experiences and this what it's a little insight into what it's like to be in a frat, to be a frat boy, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be a
you're
frat boy.
you're a frat boy, Parker. Yeah. By definition, but that doesn't mean that like,
By definition.
like you can take that multiple ways. I don't know. Either way, that's going to end off this episode. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Chit Chats. Peace.
Later.
Welcome back to wait. All right, just a little visual thing I had to fix. Okay. Welcome back to Chit Chats, everybody. My name is Antonio.
And I'm Ellie. Let's have a chit chat.
Yeah. All right.
Is that it?
That was good. That was good. Yeah, we'll take that. Actually, do it again. Do it again. You can do
I was
better.
a little worried that I forgot like a word or something as I was saying it.
Do it again. Do just for good measure. Do it one more
Have
time.
a chit chat.
All right, there we go. All right, cool. So, welcome everybody to Chit Chats, and Ellie, welcome to your second official episode. I hope you are. I hope you're ready to have a good time. You know.
I am.
Not only is this your second episode, this is your first like solo episode. You know.
I know, kind of my debut, if you will.
Yeah. Right. Because.
The last one was super fun.
Yeah, no, and that's good. But I I don't always do like solo ones with people. So you're, this is a special kind of episode. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm. And last episode, like we had you on, you played like a little game with us or like a little quiz with us. But this episode, we're gonna kind of try to get to know you a little bit more personally. So we're not going to ask super deep questions. So, I mean, if any questions I ask, if you don't feel comfortable asking them or answering them, answer them anyway. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to ask any. Basically, I want to talk to you because you are, recently we did an episode with Parker. I did an episode with Parker about what it was like being in a fraternity. And, I know that you are in a sorority, and I thought this would be a nice little compliment to that episode. And we can talk about, what it's like. We maybe like discuss the differences. I don't know, like probably just more keep it individual, but yeah. So yeah. All right. So just to start off, like what kind of describe like what a sorority is, I guess, in case like anyone doesn't know.
So sororities, usually at a university, are like a Greek-affiliated organization specifically for people identifying as women. Typically, there is a house, like a physical house, that the sorority members at some point live in throughout their college experience. Usually, like freshman year in the dorms, sophomore, junior year in the house, the sorority house, and then senior year you do your own thing. But a sorority basically, on a broader level, is an organization for people identifying as women to support a philanthropy of their, like, that is affiliated, like, so my sorority, we're affiliated with Make-A-Wish, and we have been since like 2002, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, so we have a bunch of events that we all work together to put on to support Make-A-Wish, but in a less philanthropic level, sorority is just kind of like a way to find a community within a way bigger community that is the university.
A quite large community, yeah.
Yeah, so at least that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
And that's how it served me. So that's how I would describe it.
For sure, yeah, no, and that's I like from my general perception, that's pretty much what I would think. I actually didn't know that your sorority specifically was associated with Make-A-Wish, so that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, each sorority usually has their own specific cause that they support, and ours just happens to be Make-A-Wish.
Mm-hmm. And what is the name of yours, if you don't mind?
Chi Omega.
Phi Omega?
Chi Omega. So like
Chi
Omega. And
right.
Omega. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get mixed up with the Greek letters, but yeah.
No, it's okay. There's also another sorority called Alpha Chi Omega, so some people also get confused there.
I
My
see.
grandma, for Christmas last year, she wanted to give me like a sorority Christmas ornament, and it was the Alpha Chi Omega.
Oh,
not
no.
Just like anyway, yeah, there's a lot of names that repeat, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, what exactly made you want to join a sorority? Like, what was your thought process like going into college?
Well, going into college, I just was really struggling, like feeling like I didn't have a group of gals that like I was friends with because we both wanted to be friends with each other, and like specifically other women. Throughout high school, I'd had a really hard time finding girlfriends that friendships with girls that just lasted. I didn't feel like I connected well with other girls that I went to high school or, saw at like a summer camp. Nothing ever stuck, and it frustrated me beyond belief, and it made me just, I don't know, it took me to a low where I just was like, man, like what is wrong with me that's like why is this not happening for me? Like I feel like something is wrong here, and I'm not sure why. And so that on top of going into college during a pandemic, and I was supposed to have a roommate, and she decided to stay home. So I was in a room by myself, and so that just kind of further snowballed me, and like, wow, now I'm going to college and I'm going to be even more alone. I had Parker there, but I don't know, I just wanted my own friends too. I didn't want to like rely on Parker solely
For sure.
for like a social life. I just didn't feel like that was going to be healthy for me. And so actually one of my like childhood friends, we hadn't spoken since probably elementary school, but our moms are still friends, and so we both seemed to be struggling in the friend department. So she reached out to me and was like, oh my gosh, hey, like how's it going? We're both in Corvallis and no one else is like it's pandemic o'clock, nothing is happening.
Right, yeah.
And she told me that she had decided they called it rush at that point. We don't call it rush anymore, it's like recruitment, but she told me that she decided to rush, and I honestly hadn't thought about the fact that there were probably sororities and fraternities in college. Like all I could think of prior to being in one was like the Monsters University sororities and fraternities. Like
yes.
Something that I would never, like, they were just kind of fake.
The scare games.
They're not real.
Dude, can we talk, like, I just want to say, like, I wish we had, like, a scare games in our university.
Yes.
Like, just a slight tangent there, but that would be so cool. But anyway.
Yeah. So we have, anyway, I'll
we'll go into all of it. We'll go into all of it if you have something to comment about.
But yeah, she told me that she was going to rush, and I was like, oh my gosh, I guess that's an option. And I felt like, I could either try it and it could go horribly and I would still be on the hunt for like some really close gal friends, or I could try it and could find other people that really wanted to meet me and other people going through Rush. In this moment in time where we were all trying out college during a pandemic. And so I just kind of thought through it and felt like if there are other people going through this right now, then I feel like we probably have the same intentions. I mean, not all of us, but like there are probably other people there that have the intention of finding friends.
For sure.
And so
yeah.
that was kind of my mindset, is like, there's probably other people that feel the same way as I do in this group. And even if it doesn't work out for us, I will have met some people and have some kind of outlet.
For sure, yeah.
So yeah, that's why I decided to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I went on a long, because I really didn't think about it until probably like a week before it started. And people sign up like months and months in advance, so.
Right. There's a little bit more on a whim for you, but I like,
yeah.
Overall, like, what would you say your, like, now that, because, you know, it's been 3 years, right, since you first joined, like, what do you think, like, do you think it was a good decision overall, like?
Oh yeah, I try and think of where I would be without it, which like sounds sad, but it really has been like the basis of my college experience thus far. Like, there are people that I've met outside of it, and like way great memories that I've made outside of it, but it really like formed the basis of what I wanted my college experience to look like, like social wise, and like the people I wanted to surround myself with. And I don't know, it really helped me develop as a young adult, I feel like. And on top of that, also, like, I did end up meeting those friends that also felt very alone during the pandemic and wanted to find other people that wanted to form those close connections. So thinking about where I would be had I not decided to rush, I probably would have met friends eventually. I think that it would have been a much longer, drawn out process. So yeah, I don't know. For me, I just think it was the right decision, because it was a decision that was going to get me some progress then and there. And that was kind of what I was needing. And I'm still friends with all of those people that I met that first year, like very closely with today. I'm living with a few of them next year. It really has like become a major part of my college experience. And I'm very grateful for it. I don't think I would have developed as a human quite as much without it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and I think like regardless of like, you know, when you decide to join or why, like I feel like that is like a commonality that I think like everyone going into sorority or fraternity might have, is just like wanting to make friends. Like I do think that that's like a big part of it. So I think like in that sense, like it definitely was like, it seems like it was a big success like in that regard. And
yeah, it definitely is.
That's good. Yeah, for sure. And so I guess like, what are the kinds of things, because you know like you're joining the sorority, like you're part of this like big community now, like what are the sorts of things that you guys do? I mean, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but like overall, like what are the kinds of things that you guys do, and I guess more specifically, what are the things that you do that kind of bring you guys closer together?
So like just like timeline wise, like in the fall we had fall formal recruitment, which is like the formal recruitment I went through. And we have like a work week beforehand where recruitment, it sounds like I don't know, it's very odd because it sounds like a very like, you know, people can come by and if they want to join, they can join. But with fall formal recruitment, there's like a lot of details that go into it that not everyone is aware of. And so we have this work week where everyone trains and gets ready, and like we get our house ready. And that brings people really, really close together, especially when you start living in. Like when I went into my first year living in, I hadn't met anyone that was going to be living in, or I hadn't met most people that would be living in, since they would communicate virtually our first year. So that brought us close together, is living together and getting to know each other during that like 40-hour work week of like getting ready.
That'll do it.
Yeah, we also have like a 5K color run that we all do together, that we do in like our sorority fams. So we have like, if you've heard like Big Little, yeah. So with each class of people that join, there's like a big, like when I was a sophomore, I had a freshman that was my little, and it's supposed to be like a big little sis, like mentor.
Okay, gotcha.
Join, so that you're not like completely confused about what's going on.
Right, I imagine like when you're first joining, like as a freshman, it's probably maybe a little intimidating, right?
Oh yeah, I had no idea what was happening. There were a bunch of things that happened that I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm a part of it, I guess. So yeah, I had a big when I joined, and the fams like really bring you close together too. Even if you aren't necessarily best like closest friends with people in your fam, there's still people that you like can rely on and go to for like whatever. And so yeah, we have our big little and our during our philanthropy events, we'll have teams of people doing different jobs, and it's usually like you do it with your fam to bring you closer to. So yeah, we also have like sisterhood events. Like my roommate Megan and I'm the recruitment chair, and also we're sharing the we're both doing recruitment and sisterhood together, which typically you just do one job. But Megan and I have kind of been running the sorority lately.
All right, go off.
Two different roles. Yeah. But so yeah, we've been throwing like sisterhood events. We had like a field day. We just used the budget and bought a bunch of games. We had like badminton out at Chintimity.
Nice.
And like a bunch of snacks, and it was just like sisterhood events, philanthropy events.
And so do you guys get to like as like with having those positions, do you guys get to like actually like choose what kind of events you do, or is it more like facilitated?
It's a total free for all. You get to choose. I mean, you like run it by another person on like the executive board first to make sure you're not like absolutely blowing your budget.
That's fair.
But other than that, you pretty much get to come up with whatever event you want to do. Like Megan and I just decided we would be having a field day a random Saturday. Hey, 12 to 3, come out. We're gonna have games, snacks, all this, and each position has like a budget that they get to use throughout the year. And as long as you don't go over budget, you're pretty much solid. You get to come up with whatever events you want to, and you think will like empower the sisterhood.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like you guys probably like are good people to do that. I mean, I don't know Megan as well, but like I feel like you guys have a good like energy, and like you guys like I feel like you guys probably bounce off of each other well. That's the vibe.
We really do. I appreciate that. Yeah, we both just really want to have a good time. Like, I don't know, sometimes we felt like, people don't fully take advantage of those budgets, and like that like when else in your life are you going to be able to throw whatever event you want with like a certain amount of money, like a pretty solid amount of money to just do whatever you want with all of your friends.
For sure, yeah.
And so, yeah, we try and take as much of an advantage as possible, because we've only got a year left, and our positions, we finish our jobs in after fall term. So we really only have one term left to do it. And not that other people can't do it well, but it's just fun to be able to do it yourself.
Right. Yeah, and I guess that is something that like I guess we didn't like mention, but like this is your last term or last year as a like in your sorority, right?
Yeah.
And so you do have like so I don't know if you already mentioned it, but like when did you kind of take on this like position?
So the recruitment position, that's like an executive board position. I almost said decision. And you get the whole house like makes in a way like votes and makes that decision of who's going to be in that position in at the end of fall term. So we have like a full day where we all just there's like a certain process. It's very long and drawn out. It would take all day to explain it. It's very weird, but
gotcha.
But basically a process where we like put people in certain positions and they like accept. And so I accepted the recruitment executive board position, and Megan, it's technically Megan is the sisterhood director, and that's a cardinal cabinet position. And so that's a lower level position. So the entire executive board decides who's on cardinal cabinet.
Okay.
So I was put into my position by the entire sorority, and Megan was put in her position by the executive board that I'm part of.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I think I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry if that was confusing.
No, I think I got it. I just didn't Yeah,
but those decisions are made at the end of fall term, and then so once we come back from winter break, everyone is trained over winter break, and you come back and you're in your position.
Gotcha.
And responsible for all your duties.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I knew that you had like some sort of like higher position in your sorority, or at least like something where you like were part of like you got to like make decisions kind of for the sorority, but I didn't know like the specifics of it. So that is interesting.
I'm recruitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have fall formal recruitment, and then we just started spring informal recruitment. So those are two events that are about a week long each. And so I'm in charge of facilitating the like 70 people in the sorority to recruit, and a lot goes into it. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a harder job, but so I'm excited to be done with it for my last year. But again, it's helped me develop into a better person, I think. Organization and all those stupid job skills.
Definitely, yeah, definitely important. Stupid job skills. But that's cool though, because I do think like like you probably would have developed skills like that anyway. But I think like this is definitely a cool way to, just kind of, I don't know, solidify. Or,
it's kind of like practicing them in like a obviously a non-job way.
Yeah. It prepares you for like later on instances where you'd have to do that later on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well. So I guess like in a more general sense in like college specifically, like this doesn't necessarily have to do like specifically with a sorority, but just like what are some just like standout college memories that you have? And they could relate to like stuff that you did with your sorority, but they don't necessarily have to.
Oh man. Okay.
If you feel like sharing it. I'm curious.
One of them, I mean, the most recent. Okay, I've got two.
Okay.
And I'm gonna backtrack. Not the most recent. So one of my friends that I made freshman year, Molly, she rushed along with me and said that she was like, I could see you on like the little Zoom call, but I just didn't know who you were.
Oh yeah.
We went to a lot of the same houses, but I did not notice. Anyway, so Molly and I ended up in the same sorority, luckily, and we became like such close friends, and I got the opportunity to go to Disneyland with her last summer. And,
that's right. Yeah, I think I heard about that.
Yeah. I met her family there. She was like, if you can fly yourself out, then we'll pick you up and you can come along. And I was like, absolutely.
That's sick.
And we had 2 days in Disneyland. First day was Disney, and then second day was
California Adventure.
That one. Yeah, and so I mean, we were there like from open to close because in Molly's world, she needed to ride every single ride, and I was down to do that. I was just excited to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I had never tried the churros there, but Molly loved the churros. We probably ate like 5 churros that day.
Holy crap!
It was so good. I would do it again.
Oh my goodness.
So we grabbed one last churro for the road. And we were walking back to the hotel.
Oh no.
And Molly, I mean, it's so hot. We've been sweating all day, and Molly just absolutely eats it as we're crossing the street. She just like face plants on the road, and
like literally eats it.
I'm on the phone. You gotta go. Great. I'll see you later. Oh my goodness. Like we're going on a bike ride.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a little cameo.
Yeah, the Cam Dio.
Cam Dio.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right.
Anyway, so Molly, we're crossing the street to get back to the hotel, and she absolutely eats it, and she was so frustrated. She got up, and her churros like in pieces on the ground, and
oh
she
my
just
gosh.
kicked the churro like probably 20 feet, and she's just like, shit!
I thought that you meant that she like just demolished the churro, but no, you meant like she like face planted on the street.
As I said it, I realized that might have been interpreted as she literally ate it, but no, she was just so pissed.
I would be too, man. I mean, I would be too. I mean, like I've never had the churros at Disneyland, but I imagine they're pretty good.
I
Yeah.
haven't had churros until then. Yeah, I don't know. Very rid. I don't know. That one just stuck. It sticks out to me.
That's a core memory.
About it all the time. She's like, remember when I just got so angry with that churro, and I just kicked the crap out of it. Oh gosh, another memory, or my second one. I think it was freshman year. I had kind of met like my core group of friends, and or I mean, not that I wanted to make as many friends as possible, but I had
yeah, everyone kind of has like a
yeah.
like
I had been consistently hanging out with this group of gals that I like really had connected with. And so for my birthday, Molly, her birthday is like 2 weeks after mine. So we're like, let's just do like a joint birthday that's like a little bigger than a normal birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And Parker, his mom has a beach house.
Right.
And so I was like, let me hook us up with a beach house right now. Like, not like for free, but, you know, we were going to, I knew somebody
you
that
had the opportunity, you had to take the opportunity.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And so I was like, Michelle, please let us use the beach house for this weekend. We'll pay you whatever money it takes. And so we went to this beach house all weekend, and I mean, it was so, we just sat at the beach, went like finding shells. It was just super, super fun just being able to relax. And I mean, I'm not going to say we were underage drinking, but we were very relaxed while we were there.
All right.
Yeah,
we don't need to dox anyone today. We don't need to dox anybody today. Yeah.
No. But yeah, I just remember like on that trip, I was so stressed out because it was, you know, my boyfriend's mother's beach house, and so I didn't want us to like mess anything up. But I also was like feeling so at peace because I would just like look around and I'd be like all that sadness and frustration that I had felt in the past couple years, not having that core group of friends that like really just wanted to be my friend because of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it is here. Like I have waited it out, and I am here with those friends now. And so yeah, I look back on that trip super fondly because it only brought us closer. And so I was just really, it was blissful.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I really made it.
Yeah, like that, like you feel like that was maybe like a sort of a pivotal moment. Like you kind of, like when you kind of realize like, oh, this is like I've kind of achieved what I set out to. Yeah. Exactly.
I do corny shit like that all the time. I just look up and I'm like, oh, my people.
You got, I mean, like, you know, it may be corny, but it's like, if it makes you feel good, it's like, there's no harm in that, you know? I support that.
Thanks. So yeah, that was another good memory. There are lots of, like, weird, funny memories with them, but yeah, I just felt really good that I had, like, gotten the chance to meet them.
That's awesome. I want to go back. You mentioned, or like when we brought up the scare games thing, you were gonna say something, and I'm curious what you were going to say.
Yes, we have Greek Week, and so this year it was Mario themed, and it's not like as intense as scare games.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And so we have like a bunch of competitions throughout the week, and each house there's like a team. Like we were paired with a fraternity and another sorority. It was like an academic sorority, so not like a Panhellenic. There's like different councils. It doesn't matter. We were with another fraternity and another sorority.
Okay.
And we were Team Peach. We didn't win, but there were just a bunch of fun games throughout the week. There was like a Mario trivia night. We got dead last. I was on that team. It was painful.
Damn.
There was a race. Like you had to make a cart. You had to make Peach themed. I wanted it to be a cart. It was like a cardboard box. You had to make completely Peach themed, and it was like a foot race, and you had to like hand it. It was like a relay.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I forget what the other. There were a bunch of little events, but like there's a whole week where it's just like competition between the entire Greek community, and it was Mario themed. It was pretty fun.
That's sick, dude. I wish I was in the Mario trivia. I would kill in the Mario trivia.
There were some people there who had like seriously done their research. Like there were some seriously detailed questions, like the names of like side characters that I had never even seen. Luckily, one of the guys, or I mean, I guess not luckily because we got dead last, but one of the guys that was on our team said that he found like a Quizlet that had all the same questions as the actual trivia. Apparently, he did not, but whatever.
Damn, that's pretty. That's pretty cool. You what? Oh, you kind of had a scare game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
cool. And so is Greek Week, is this a thing that you guys do like every year or every term or yeah?
It's every year.
Uh,
I think it's just once a year. I honestly
uh,
can't remember if we also did it in the fall. It's either once a year in the spring or fall and spring. I'm pretty sure it's just spring. I don't know
Okay.
why. It just feels like the last Greek week that we had was so recent.
Right.
But I think it's just once a year. Sorry, I keep going
Gotcha.
back and forth.
No, yeah. No, I was just curious because I do remember hearing about like I like now that I think about it, I think I remember Parker mentioning uh I don't yeah, I think he mentioned Greek Week and he said that there was like Mario competitions
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, that's so awesome. That's
Yeah,
cool
that's
though.
awesome. I was stoked to be Team Peach.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. We stand Peach. All right, in this house.
Team Peach.
Fun fact: she's getting a new game soon on Switch.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, well, consider my money already gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Is it kind of like a Super Mario Bros. Like game or like what?
I think so. Well, okay. There's this is like far removed from like sororities in college, but
I'm so sorry.
I will bring it. No. Like I don't mind. I don't mind bringing it up. They announced a new Mario game where Peach is playable. And then so that is like just like a Mario game. But then they have this game that they didn't really talk about a lot. Like they announced it and they didn't really talk about it a whole lot. But it looks like it's like a Mario-esque game. Like it's like a platforming game, but you play as Peach, and you get like power-ups as Peach, and it looks like it's like I don't know, almost like it's like a stage play setting. I don't know. It's like it's interesting. I'm interested to see what it is.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But either way, it has Peach, and that means it's guaranteed to be a little bit quality at least. I think.
I was gonna say it has Peach, so I'll probably buy it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I guess I just have like one more question for you for this interview.
Okay.
So like you talked about how like you went into college, like you had like these goals in mind, and you grew a lot, and you developed a lot of like important life skills and skills being an adult. What is something that you like? What's like a really big takeaway now that college is like kind of like in its last leg, right? What's like a really big takeaway or something that maybe like you would tell somebody going into college, or like maybe even like going into your sorority potentially, like just some like words of advice.
Oh man.
It's a
I
big
would
one.
say be open to all kinds of relationships, friendships, kind of not super close friends. I don't know. I feel like I went in really wanting just the close friends that I may have missed out on some friendships that could have also been of value to me. Or I mean, I guess that sounds kind of odd, like you were of value to me. But I would tell myself and other people to be open to all kinds of friendships and relationships. And just like not like constantly like pining after them, but be open and want them. I don't know. I would consider myself much more open to all kinds of like friendships and relationships now. And like I think that has created a version of me that's surrounded by a lot more love than I would be if I was closed off to only super close friends.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and I feel like and I feel like you could say that about just like experiences in general, right? Like be open to like trying new things, having experiences maybe you didn't plan, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would not say a majority of my college experience has been planned. I mean, that coffee
Right.
shop job that I had, I did not want to work at a coffee shop, and it ended up being the best job I've had so far. I worked there for 2
Let's
years,
go.
and it was great. Yeah, I would say, like, be open to what you aren't expecting.
Right, yeah. And yeah, I mean you never know what life is gonna throw at you. And I don't know, speaking of someone who is a little like I can be kinda like closed off, at least initially, to like trying new things. I do think like there is a lot of value in kind of like going through those experiences, like kind of just like even if you kind of have to like what's the phrase, like bite the bullet? Is that the phrase?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And just kind of like go for it, and you probably will. Like it may not always work out, but I do think like when it does, it's like a really nice thing.
Yeah, and doing new or trying new things with your friends too. I feel like
Yes.
only brings you closer. I don't know.
Yes, that's
I
for
have a lot
sure.
of great memories trying random stuff with friends that I'm closer or not as close with, and I don't know. It's just like fun memories. Like remember when we were like dumb idiots in sophomore year of college and we tried that weird Greek week event. Something.
Right.
I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think college is like a really good time to do stuff like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that is going to conclude this interview and this video. So thank you so much for talking to me today and telling me about your experiences and all of that. Very fun.
Dude, thanks for having me. I enjoyed rambling on about them.
I enjoy, I don't think of it as rambling. I think of it as like, just talking, just vibing,
Yeah.
as a rambler myself. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. But with that, yeah, that'll conclude this video. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the next episode of Chit Chats.
Later.
Peace. Welcome back to Chit Chats, everybody. My name is Antonio.
My name is Brennan.
And my name's Dean, and let's have a chit chat. Let's go.
Yes, he did it.
He's not getting fired today.
You did it better. I think when Donovan did it for the first time, he screwed up. Yeah, that's right, Donovan.
Really?
I'm calling you out.
Yeah.
It was either Donovan or me.
Shame.
But yeah. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Chit Chats, everybody. Today is a special episode because we have a guest who has not been on an episode so far, and that is
Surprise.
Brennan.
Oh.
Welcome, Brennan. Okay, bad joke.
Thank you for joining our show.
It's actually Dean. Welcome, Dean.
Surprise.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So typically on this show, I'm just going to give you the rundown. We like to have fun. We like to have a good time. But today is not that day because today is a very sad day.
Yeah.
Because today we are honoring the deaths of me and Dean. Because we died.
Very sad.
Oh, good. Finally.
Very sad. Brendan's like, yes, I can finally take over Tonyverse. No, but in all seriousness, a couple months back, me and Dean were in the same public speaking class, and for our final project in that class, we had to write a special occasion speech. This is kind of giving context to the audience and to you, Brendan, because Brendan's going to be me and Dean's audience today, and we'll see why in a second. But we had to do a special occasion speech, and and it could be anything. It could be like for a wedding or for graduation or any sort of thing like that. And me and Dean chose
death.
chose funeral speeches. Yeah, eulogies for each other. I wrote Dean's eulogy and he wrote mine. They're not serious, or maybe they are serious. That's kind of up for interpretation.
I thought that was the plan, is to like give these as actual eulogies when we actually die in real life.
Yes, in real life when we die, someone better read these.
We have to. We're obligated now.
Yeah, it's basically it's written like there's not an actual contract, but there might as well be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they're pretty good, and we got little slideshow presentations to present alongside them. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy, Brennan. I think you'll get a kick out of them.
It's funny though, because just real quick, on my end, me and Dean are switched. So you're at the bottom for me, but when you were like special guest Brennan, but then you pointed at Dean, and then you're like, never mind, it's Dean, but then you pointed at me, and I was like, yes.
No, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, no. On the video,
as long as it looks right on your side, that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, on the video it'll look good, hopefully.
Hopefully.
No. But okay, so I'm going to pull up if you don't mind, Dean, if I go first, if that's cool.
Be my
I
guest.
just kind of volunteered myself, but
Yeah, see, you're my guest now.
yeah, exactly. The tables have turned.
Boo.
Shut up. Be a good audience member, Brennan. All right.
It's like
So-
says like the first.
So here is
says the first word.
Shut up. So here's the slideshow. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, we can see
Yes.
fine.
Okay. Here, let me go into present mode. Oh, wait, I don't think that's gonna work. Hold on. Shoot. No, don't do that.
You're spoiling it.
Don't do that. No. I don't know how to get out of
Oh,
this.
you're spoiling it.
Oh, crap.
This was a college project.
Technical difficulties, everyone.
No, okay. So basically, just don't pay attention to the left side. Just only watch the middle, okay? Because I can't present it. I can't put it in present mode and show your guys' faces at the same time. So Brendan,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Got it.
So for your sake and the audience sake, yeah, just look directly in the middle. All right.
Actually, who knows? Maybe that'll be a better idea. Because last night I was looking through all the chit chats, and every single one I'm in has less views.
What are you talking about?
I'm not kidding. Every single one that has someone else other than me in it has more views.
What?
I don't think there's any correlation. Okay. I think
You're seeing
popularity-
patterns that aren't there.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
You're imagining things, okay? So, and also people. No, I actually think it's just people hate you. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let's get started. All right. So, without further ado, let's get into a bit of a somber mindset. It's a very, very sad topic. So, all right, Brennan,
Uh-huh.
you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm hearing things on my door. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Great
All right.
things.
No, I'm not ready to die. Those were Dean's final words when he passed away on February 30th, 2021 at 4:20 p.m. I've gathered you here today to pay tribute to him and the amazing memories we made with him. As you may have heard just a second ago when I said it, Dean passed away on February 30th, 2021 at 4:20 p.m. while attempting to out-pizza the Hut. As it turns out, no one out-pizzas the Hut. Dean will always have the wondrous legacy of being an epic gamer. Whether it was Minecraft, Fortnite, or Among Us, Dean was present. He was also known for his comedy. While I never laughed at his jokes, I will acknowledge that he tried, and that's what really matters. Dean will be fondly remembered for many great times we shared with him, such as being in this class with him. You know, sometimes I feel as though I can still hear the sound of his voice. Okay, so really quick, this next part doesn't make as much sense in this context because I'll just read it. A minute ago, I thought I heard him give an entire special occasion speech for COM 111 public speaking taught by name omitted, but it must have just been the wind. In the actual context, Dean would have read his, and then it would have been a really funny joke because, you know, it would have just made sense. But that is unfortunately not how I decided that we would do it.
All I can think of with you explaining this is that meme where it's like that old lady. Sometimes I can still hear his voice, and then the old dude in the distance, stop telling everybody I'm dead.
That's pretty much what happened here.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, like you asked a minute ago. Yes, this was a college presentation. Just keep that in mind. Just want to reiterate that.
Okay.
Anyway,
And also keep in mind we got A's on them. Keep in mind.
Yeah, keep that in mind. That's very important.
My writing class was a lot different.
Okay, moving on. He may not be with us anymore, but his spirit will live on strongly in the r/Dean subreddit, which I will be creating after this class is over. Thank you all for taking this time to remember Dean with me. While he may not be with us anymore, we cannot deny the impact that he's had on our lives. Thank you. You may applaud in your head or out loud. Thank you.
Wait, so how many posts are actually in the r/Dean subreddit?
Zero.
Just curious.
There are none. No, everyone knew about it. No one posted on it.
All right, thank you.
I don't even think I had enough karma to make a subreddit, even if I
Didn't
wanted
have
to.
enough Reddit gold.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not a redditor. I'm sorry to say.
It's unfortunate neither of us are Redditors. It
No.
just didn't work out.
I just not downloaded Reddit, so I'm not either.
Uh-oh, Brett. This begins Brennan's quest to become a redditor.
You're gonna
Yeah,
have to
I
make
have
the
a-
r/Dean subreddit.
Nope.
It's up to you.
Sorry, that's up to you now, Brennan. No, I'm putting that task on you.
hmm It's just the way things are.
That's the day I quit working for Tony Bristol.
Yeah, working as if I pay
Yeah.
you. Silly
Slave labor.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Whoa.
I need help.
Let's not go there.
Whoa. Okay.
Too far.
Child labor.
Okay, that's better. That's better. Thank you.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's not better.
Okay, so that was Dean's eulogy and eulogy presentation. Now, Dean, would you very so kindly like to pull up the slideshow that you made for mine and read my eulogy?
Yes. Let me get it set up here.
All right, and I will pull up the stream. Hopefully, I can pull it up and also have you guys next to it.
Okay. Can you see everything?
Yes. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. There we go. Yeah. I can see it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I can see it.
Let's do this.
Lately, many people have expressed their sympathies about Antonio's sudden passing and gut-wrenching death. Well, one thing's for certain. His guts were definitely wrenched. Last Monday at 9:37 p.m., Antonio was struck by a freight train barreling 80 miles per hour towards him as he was listening to his favorite song, All Star by Smash Mouth.
Yes.
We tried to warn him, but he couldn't hear us with his AirPods in.
God, fuck.
Nobody could have ever seen this coming. But to be fair, Antonio never saw the train coming either. During his life, Antonio was a loving father and a family man with a heart of gold. He took care of his two dogs, Coco and Mila, both of whom he hated and despised very, very much. When I returned to deliver the news to his family, they were overjoyed, especially since Antonio's YouTube fame had peaked in his passing. However, Antonio wasn't just a man of great prestige, he was a man who wanted to change the world. As you remember from his recent speech on why we should get rid of the penny, which, you would have heard if you were actually in the class, he strove to better the future for all Americans. But unfortunately for him, he was so poor that we ultimately ended up using pennies to pay for his funeral and, in fact, his coffin. And as Ice-T once said, don't hate the playa, hate the game. Fly high, Antonio. Fly high. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Amazing.
I'm honestly impressed with that one.
I forgot that I used that I sent you that picture to use for that. Oh my god.
Wow.
Such a great picture.
It
I think I'm
really
gonna hold
is.
it against you.
I'm
really
crying.
is.
I can't tell if it's from impressiveness or because I died a little inside, but I'm crying.
Hey, I'm the one that died. Me and Dean are the ones that died.
Yeah, come on, dude.
You might have just killed a third person here.
Uh-oh, we have to write
You might be
eulogy.
dead, but you might also both be charged with manslaughter.
Writing a
no.
eulogy for Brennan.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So for a little bit of context, Dean mentioned how a couple things in that speech. He mentioned how my favorite song was All Star. That was actually a reference. That wasn't just a funny Shrek reference. That was also a reference because the first speech we had to do was a manuscript speech, I think they called it.
Yeah, something like that.
And the idea was, it was just you took like an excerpt of like a bigger speech, or you could do like a song, and I chose to do like the first like 10 lines of All Star or so, something like that.
Like that.
So, but I read it like super like meaningfully, like it was like a really like sorrow speech or whatever.
Hey, it's a sad song, man.
It
Yeah.
is. It's very sad.
Very remorseful.
Very remorseful.
It really is. Yeah. There's a lot of
should
depth
have
to the lyrics if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of meaning to be derived.
Mm-hmm.
And the other reference that Dean made was he mentioned how I wanted to get rid of the penny. That was because another one of the speeches I did was why we should get rid of the penny. just for context. Just for context.
No way.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking.
Mhm. But yeah, so Brennan, how did you enjoy those?
Okay, so I'm totally gonna be an asshole here and pick a winner. Okay,
Okay.
but but before I pick a winner, I have to give credit to both. So Antonio,
Thank you.
the puns and the memes, and the Among Us.
I had to include Among
that
Us.
was very well written. I love the storytelling in your slideshow.
Thank you.
It was very creative. Both were good, but Antonio's, the way it started off sounded a little bit more like how a eulogy would go. They both ended off pretty much the same way and pretty strong, but Antonio started off stronger. But just because of the way things ended, I think I have to give the award to Dean. Just because a few of the jokes and the way he described things were a little a little much. But don't worry, Antonio. You're a penny away from second place.
God damn it. No, I think that is very well deserved. I think Dean did a fantastic job. Good job, Dean.
You both did well overall. You should both be proud of yourself.
Oh yeah.
Antonio's had, I will say right now, even though Dean won, Antonio's storytelling was amazing.
Impeccable, even.
I appreciate your review as if it's like you're like reviewing like a novel or something.
I'm reviewing your death.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, death review.
Death review.
New genre of video on YouTube.
Death review.
Death review.
Dude, wait, what's that poster from? I don't know what that poster
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh wait.
I don't know what that is.
It doesn't look familiar
it's
at all.
nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, same
Sorry,
with the shirt.
I found it somewhere, and
I don't really know where I
thought
got
it looked
this shirt,
cool.
but
Yeah, I found that out back. Someone like left it here, and I was like, whatever, it looks cool, so I'll put it up.
Yeah, it's kind of a like. I have one similar. Like I don't know where I got this shirt at all, but you know what? It's just like kind of showed at my house one day.
You know, that's weird.
Yeah, it looks cool, but that's a really weird. Yeah, that's weird. We all have these random.
I wonder if anyone's gonna get this fucking joke.
You know what? If people don't, that's okay.
That's better. That's perfect.
Exactly.
If anyone does it, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So Dean, what are your thoughts on these eulogies that we did and we presented? And
I think like
the class that we took.
Okay, so starting off, I'd say the class in general, it sucked a lot of the time, but it was all worth it for this speech because it basically said, yeah, do whatever you want. I really don't care. And then we got to get into like maybe like it was like we got to think of it more like a video instead of like another essay to do, and then we got to actually make funny jokes.
Yeah.
And so that made it literally all worth it in my case.
That's all you could really ask for, right?
Yeah. A funny speech.
I agree. And I think the class enjoyed it too. So
yeah.
I'm pretty satisfied.
Oh yeah, also I remember like in class we had the Zoom background set as like coffins in the background. Like we were actually had the scenery set up for a funeral.
That was fun. Yeah.
And we wore suits as well, of course.
Dude, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. So when you're doing welding and like shop class, that's not really something you can do on Zoom.
Right, yeah.
So I only had to do my basic education classes on Zoom, and then everything else I've actually been in campus for.
That's cool.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's lucky, yeah.
My teachers were pretty cool. My writing teacher was pretty chill. My math teacher was a pretty basic math teacher.
Yeah. Not a big fan of
my human relations teacher was pretty nice. Why am I talking? This isn't about me.
Hey, it's everyone's show.
Remember, Brennan, when you're in a video that gets less views, shut up and just sit down.
Dude, I'm taking over the channel now.
Yeah,
right.
No, this video is going to get freaking tons of views, dude. Yeah.
Maybe change the thumbnail. Change the thumbnail so they don't know that I'm in the video.
So it's
so then they at least have to like watch it, so you'll still technically get the view.
Right. Yeah. I'll just make it Dean's face. Like it'll just be like a super zoomed in picture of Dean's face.
I'll give you the title.
Oh god.
Okay.
With the title card.
Okay.
Hey, nice mustache hair, bro.
Thank you. I need a shave.
Yeah, dude, I just shaved.
I need to too.
Wait, back up a little bit. Okay, just like, yeah, just stare at the. Okay, that's good, right there.
Okay.
That'll be thumbnail.
He's like, okay, no more. Back to
Approximately 2 extra views from that.
Yeah, exactly. You think I won't use that as a thumbnail? You're wrong. You're very wrong.
Well,
I can't wait for the next
I'm expecting big things.
the
Big
next
things.
tier list.
Mhm.
What we're gonna call it.
Oh God, yeah. The next episode that we already recorded the episode that's going to go up after this one, and it's freaking long as hell. So
Oh
Also-
my god.
I have some commentary on just a quick thing. I saw
what's up?
your snack review a while back, and I have some things to add to the peanut scenario.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
I say peanuts. We're talking about them in their regular form, I assume, correct? Their natural state.
Yeah, like
Peanuts,
shelled peanuts. Yeah.
they suck. They're not good.
Yes.
They're not
Yes!
peanuts.
Yeah. Antonio,
They
congratulations.
don't
Congratulations. You have one person on your side out of everyone else that talks
No.
shit to you about it.
No.
They just
I-
they just don't hit that hard.
They
Unless they're
don't.
with like ice cream or something alone. Nobody goes and nobody eats peanuts. So
And
you know what?
You are correct.
It's it just doesn't work that way.
Yep.
You gotta get over
Brother.
it, Antonio.
And I
Antonio,
know-
Antonio, you gotta get over it.
No,
You gotta
no.
get over
I
it.
know there's more people out there that agree. I know.
I
that
know.
for a fact.
I think most of the population agrees that peanuts just aren't that good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and most of the baseball population will also hit you with baseball bats on the side of the head.
What? You think just because you have a nice story with your grandpa about the peanuts, you
Hey.
think that means anything?
Hey,
Really?
listen here, tiny man.
I'm sorry, sports fans, but it just doesn't work that way.
Nope.
It doesn't work that way, sports
Sorry, dude.
fans.
Yeah.
I would laugh if someone with a baseball bat just slowly walking behind Dean's door.
Yeah.
Just like sneaks
Just all of
in.
a sudden, like, oh,
There's a threat at my door all of a sudden.
yeah. Anyway, I think with that, we are going to wrap up today's episode of Chit Chats.
Yes.
So, thank you, Brennan, for joining as always. Thank you, Dean,
Uh-huh.
for being our special guest in this episode and for reading the eulogies with me.
Anytime.
And thank you, everyone watching, for watching this episode and for hopefully you enjoyed our eulogies. Maybe we'll write more. Maybe we'll write one for Brennan. Maybe we'll,
Yeah.
maybe
Kill
we'll
me.
actually
Please.
kill Brennan. I mean,
Maybe
maybe
we'll sacrifice Brandon.
on video. That'll be like
Maybe
the
it'll
Chit Chats
happen.
finale. That'll be like the
I
finale.
already have a target on my back due to my ties with the mafia.
Due to your
Exactly.
stance on peanuts.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
No, you two have targets on your back, dude.
No. Anyway,
Antonio, don't make me grab my baseball bat.
so we're gonna wrap this episode up. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
That's it.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Honey, where is my super?
Wipe.